What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Daily Refinement. I'm just going to confirm in the chat that the audio is working. But today I want to go over the three things that resellers should spend 100% of their time doing, and then the eight things that prevent you from doing these three things. And the most successful resellers that I know spend 100% of their time on these three important things, and they don't spend any time on the non important things. So I just want to make sure that the audio is working, and then we'll get straight into it. What's up, guys? If you could just confirm if the audio is working, then we'll get straight into the three things you should spend 100% of your time on, and then the eight things that you should avoid. Thanks for joining me on this live chat. What's up, guys? And then maybe put in the chat where you guys are from. I'm in Oakland, California. All right, let's get straight into it. Thanks, Patty. So the three things that you should spend 100% of your time doing are these are very straightforward things, but most people do not spend their time on this. So the first thing is looking for unique and or undervalued items. This is the fun part of reselling. This is the fun part of reselling, but people don't spend the majority of their time doing this generally. Generally, people spend the majority of their time on the eight things I'm going to talk about after. But if you spent the 8 or 10 hours of work that you are at work working on looking for unique or undervalued deals, that might just be you going through manifests and picking which products are the best, or you thrifting the entire day, or you going to flea markets the whole time. Basically, just going through lists of stuff to identify what's valuable. That's number one. Number two would be looking for improvements that you can make either in your own store, making things faster or smoother, or maybe you're going to improving a specific product. Somebody has a camera tripod and you figure out a way to make it better. You start selling that. Improvements, whether to your own system or to products, you should spend a majority of your time on that. And then also, looking for relationships is the final part that you should spend a lot of your time on. But most people don't work on any of these three things because they're so busy working on the eight things I'm going to go over in just a second. Excuse me. And the relationship part, this is really key. Okay. So you want to focus on how you can be an asset to whoever you're trying to talk to versus an ass hat. I hope that that word does not demonetize this video, but focus on being an asset versus an ass hat and basically providing no value to somebody and just trying to get from them whatever it is that you're looking for. So give me the best deals, uh, give me the best supply, and I'm not going to give you anything. I see a lot of people approaching it that way, which is not how you build a relationship. The best relationships usually you actually give a lot and don't expect anything in return. So let me go over the eight things that prevent you from doing these three things, which is looking for stuff all day and deals, looking for suppliers, and then looking for improvements either in products or your own system. The first one is defects. So this is dealing with returns, bad buys, shrinkage. Maybe shrinkage is like either you didn't process an item properly or it gets stolen out of your by your employees. Returns, this takes up a lot of people's time, especially if you're doing volume. There's returns that happen every single day. So that's one thing that's preventing you from spending time on this. I'm actually leaning towards no returns in some of my stores because I don't need to offer returns. Most of my items are described properly. I don't have an issue with sell-through rate not being high enough. So in my new store that I started, I accidentally didn't offer no returns and it didn't affect the sales at all. So if the buyer forces a return, sure, I'll take it. But I don't think I need to. In my particular niche, it's not required to you have to have a return policy because I'm selling rare, unique stuff that's interesting. And most of the people, if they're returning, it's because they didn't like the item. And I kind of need to reduce that because it's not necessary. Thank you, Ron, for the super chat. Hope everything is going well out there. Hope your dog's doing well. Um, the next one is overproduction. So these are the eight wastes of lean. And the second one is overproduction. And what that is you've bought too many things and it's beyond what you can list. So that's a waste of your money, capital, and most importantly, it's a waste of your mental real estate because you are there's a lot of stuff that you have unlisted, and it's taking up space in wherever it is that you're working. I love going to work when the death pile is zero. Maybe you guys can put in the chat the estimated number of items in your death pile, and this would be your overproduction. Ideally, I think maybe 1 week of stuff unlisted is maybe the most you should have. Maybe a little bit longer if you have more stuff. Um, the next one is waiting. So this can be waiting for things to finish. This could be waiting in line when you are buying something at the thrift store. This could be driving, right? Those are the two most common if you're doing thrifting or retail arbitrage. Waiting in line and driving is the majority of your day. Um, and then also process bottlenecks are crazy. So what I mean by that is like if I were going to do one piece flow, which is photograph the item or describe the item, photograph the item, list the item. Listing the item takes the longest of that. So if I had different people working at each station, the lister would always be the slowest part. That's the hardest part to do. So I haven't not solved that yet. It is just right now. I'm just basically forcing myself to do it in order, one at a time, and that's greatly reduced the number of items I can do. But there's almost no mistakes doing it that way. So it's okay. I'm down for the doing things one at a time. That's true lean. And I'm finding out that I don't really need that big of a store to reach my income goals. I just need a highly tailored store where things sell faster. Superb has 15 items unlisted. Joanne has 1,000. Ron has four. Uh, let's see. Tommy has thousands. Closet Manifest has 50 to 75 unlisted items. Yeah, so and it depends on your capacity. If you can list, my setup is designed to do 1,000 listings per week with 4 people. But right now I only have two, so that reduces it down to 500. And then now I'm only working with James 2 days a week, and the rest of the time he's thrifting, so it's down to 250 items a week. So whatever your capacity is, you can kind of get an idea of how much space you need for your death pile. Brian has no death pile. Awesome. Okay, the next one is not utilizing your talent. Unwasted human potential is a giant waste. This is probably the largest one. And this means that you're spending your time doing these things instead of the three most important things, which is looking for suppliers, building relationships, and looking for process improvement. If you did that all day, you would have a very huge business. Meaning, yesterday I did a video with Stephen Maddox, and he spends from 10 in the morning till midnight basically 7 days a week looking for suppliers. So what that turns into is a business where you have wholesale relationships with vendors. Not only do you have wholesale relationships with them, meaning you can just reorder when the item sells out, he also has net terms, meaning he's not tying up his capital when he buys something. So he gets the item from the manufacturer or the distributor. He has time to sell it. He's looking for 30-day net terms, and he's also paying with a credit card. So he's effectively getting 60 days before he has to pay any interest on that item and not tying up any of his actual capital. His goal sell through rate on Amazon is 30 days, meaning his net worth just goes up every single month without investing any new capital because he's not investing in the inventory. It just comes to him, and before he has to pay the bill, the money is already back into his bank account, even with the Amazon payout. So, how do you do that? You spend from 10 in the morning till 12 a.m. That's 14 hours a day building those relationships up. This is only his second year. So, it takes time to build those relationships up and grow. And he has his brother helping him with the fulfillment part, which is the listing, processing, sending things into FBA, photography, all that stuff. Has somebody else doing that part. So he has an optimized business where he's only looking for deals, building relationships, and looking for improvements in the system. And he's not spending any of his time on the busy work. Not utilizing talent, you might have, as an example, I feel like photography, listing, and describing are less important than finding a good deal. If you have really, really quality products, it's not very hard to sell. You don't need anything fancy because they're already trending. So if you are wasting your valuable energy on anything except for those three things, you're underutilizing yourself. In fact, most jobs inside of an eBay business are like 10 to $20 an hour, to be honest. So if you're working inside your company doing that, you're probably making 20 to 40 grand gross online, which is like that's okay, but it's not a $52,000 net income, which is what a lot of people are looking for. If you want to net 1 grand a week, you got to have more processes built into your company. You can't just be a one person doing everything, unless you're running yourself to the bone, and then you also um, you can't ever take a vacation if you are the only person doing everything. You have to do it forever, and that will result in burning out. And what I see resellers do is they'll take a whole month off and they're not going to be doing much. So that's don't burn yourself out. You have to learn how to have other people help you. If you're doing only 10 to $20 an hour stuff most of the day, you're only going to earn 10 to $20 an hour most of the day. And I've had multiple comments. I was just on Beat the Bushes channel. Multiple people reached out to me and said, "Why don't you just get a $200,000 job? That looks a lot easier than reselling. And can you really earn more than 200,000? How many resellers do you know that earn more than 200,000? And how many of your friends earn 200K?" I would say most of my friends with the same skill set as me earn over 200K. So like 90% of them. Um, if they're utilizing sales skills to work for a company, especially here in the Bay Area, you're gonna probably get 10K a month as your base plus commission. Although they will fire you if you don't produce. So, but a person that doesn't get fired is gonna probably earn 200. So, make it worth it, right? If you're gonna be a reseller, make it worth it because that's why I think that the dollar amount of what you sell, if you sell replenishable items, it's different. But if you sell one-off items, whatever your average sale price is probably your hourly. If you sell $12 items or $15 items, you're probably only earning 12 or $15 an hour because you're not counting all the time that you're working on your business, driving, dealing with returns, shifting stuff around in your house. You're not counting all that time. You know, if you want to do $40 an hour, $40 average sale price, that's a lot more research up front. You've got to look for more deals. If you want to average 40 bucks, it takes more time. And those people have smaller inventories. You need less staff, right? If you have $100 ASP, that's even more time looking for deals because that's more rare to find items that sell at that level. Now we're going to talk about transportation. This is a big one. This is not having things that are near you. You have to go look for them, not having things in the right place. I have this little holder on my desk, and it sounds silly, but my pen is in this, and I never have to look for it. So everything that I need to do my job is within reach, and that just makes it a lot easier. Yeah, my logo is cool. So I actually wanted to be a husky, but it looks like a fox. So that was not intentional. And it also has cat ears, which was not intentional either. So it's confusing people what this is. I just ordered a few things to test out. I have a pillow, this thing. I have the phone case thing. So it's pretty fun. I mean, I basically wanted a guy that like a represents what we do. Because people didn't like the term trash elf, which I think most of us, that's what we're doing, are reselling trash. But this little guy, I had a designer make it for me on Fiverr, which is nice because you can go on to Fiverr.com and for $5, you can have somebody design you something without spending too much money on branding. So transportation is eliminating the distance between where you find things, um, distance between your suppliers, right? This is why you want to deal with local suppliers first. Shout out to Ahmad for the super chat. Thank you for the $50 super chat. Ahmad's been actually shouldn't I should be sending him 50 bucks because he helped me organize my YouTube channel a little bit more. The idea behind the channel now is to take it a lot more seriously, give as much value as I can, make every video useful and thought provoking, so you guys can go home and improve your business. Um, yeah, I have a few I have 9 designs with him actually, so I'll start putting more stuff out as I learn. Need black. Oh, that's true. The ones with the eyes look more like a husky. You can't tell because there's no black ring around it. Good point. Okay, so let's now go into inventory excess. This is kind of a funky one. For me, it's the pursuit of less but better. Okay, so what that means is you want to constantly be shrinking your inventory and having better inventory. Just replacing it with stuff that's better, meaning you're selling $12 shirts, start removing those and adding $15 shirts, adding $18 shirts, and then it's filtering out the bottom 10% of your inventory constantly. So if you can make that better, your store actually shrinks and you actually make more money. That's the idea. So right now, I have 7,800 items in my store, maybe 7,700 now, and I'm just filtering those items out and bringing in stuff that I can reorder, bringing in more expensive stuff. I'm considering doing a store along the lines called something like California Consignment, where I start looking for inventory because I live in a super wealthy. Within like 2 hours of me, within 2 hours of me in a circle would be like the ninth richest country in the world, right? So every 11,000 people in the Bay Area is a billionaire. So if I had some kind of high-end consignment where I'm selling statues and stuff, if I would, and the model that I would pick is 30% of the gross would be what I take. Under $500 and over $500, I would only take 10%, 10 or 15% because I want to attract some really expensive stuff. Why not sell something for 2,000 and make 200 bucks? That sounds great. So I'd like to be in the luxury consignment sector. So I'm going to figure out how to do um, a little bit of consignment, and that's part of the inventory excess, reducing stuff and then making it higher. At Val is asking about the loneliness situation. I'm sorry, Patty. Which site are you referring to? At Val is asking about loneliness of this work. I mean, I most of my friends are resellers, so you're working by yourself quite a bit. But I'm always reaching out to people who do the same thing as me. Like I'm friends with the mod in the chat, like we text, and hopefully we can meet up like once a year. The idea is just most of this work is solo work. If you don't like working by yourself, you need to work on a team, and that's totally different. You're going to have a much larger operation to always have people around you, and it's very difficult. I've only seen it really work on a small scale with like husband and wife team or brother and sister, two brothers, two sisters, two really good best friends. Those two ladies in Brooklyn. Their store is Shop Material Style, and they do a couple $1 million a year on eBay, and then $20 million outside of eBay. They're really good friends, and they're never lonely because they're with each other. And they also have a small team, I think of 9 or 10 people that work with them. So that's you're not really lonely, but that's a different kind of company. Let's see. Yeah, someone says Marin County is the richest per capita. I believe that. It also has like one of the highest alcoholism. So it's kind of like a utopia. It's beautiful and everyone drinks a lot. So it's interesting. Some of us in Canada are limited, do not have Mercari and Poshmark. I don't think you need Mercari and Poshmark to be successful. eBay is fine. I'm actually debating not using Poshmark or Mercari at all because it's like a lot of extra work to list on multiple platforms, and eBay has the most traffic. So why not just spend your time on eBay and Amazon? It already does fine. The only benefit to Poshmark and Mercari is just a faster turn, and I don't have that problem. So if you were gonna move towards like you need to sell your stuff immediately, then you better move to new products. Honestly, if you need your cash flow to move really quickly, that's not gonna work with used products. That would be like um, that would be like not focusing on exercise and diet and trying to lose weight. I don't have a better example. Just if you're trying to sell things quickly, don't sell used items. And they're gonna sell slower than brand new items where you know how many sell per day. You know exactly how long new items take to sell. You have no idea with pre-owned. Buffalo sells jeans. Yeah, I mean, here's the thing though. Like if you actually work for eBay, if you just sell jeans, like Buffalo Shark mentioned eBay glitches. That's like That's like complaining about your job. That's part of the like you have the ability to sell something different. You could sell shorts right now, and this is the season for shorts, right? You're not obligated to sell jeans during the summer. In fact, jeans sell for less money during the summer. You could just wait and start listing them during back to school time, which I think is the highest time for jeans. You could just sell shorts right now or sell sports equipment when it's more busy and then worry about that part later. So definitely, I want to get this shirt that says, it's always my fault. Because if you have that attitude, you always have something to fix. But if you're blaming eBay, you're giving eBay all the power when you don't even need to sell on eBay. Tommy's asking about web interpret. When I did web interpret, I had a 12% increase in sales internationally. It works, but again, I'm not looking for a faster sell through rate. I'm just looking for more expensive items. So that I did not need that. Um, let's see. Alpaca is saying your experience as the seller interface is not a speedy setup. Yeah, that's true. We're now going to move into number 7, which is motion. This is so funny. You can eliminate stuff that doesn't is not required. So, for example, the two ladies that do $2 million on eBay don't have measurements. So, like, yes, would they get more sales if they added measurements? Sure. Is it required to sell an item? No. Right? So you don't want to spend a lot of time working on that. Does it increase returns? Probably. But again, it just depends on people are optimizing stuff that doesn't matter. Like you're spending 2 weeks on figuring out what lighting kit, which when that doesn't even really matter. My new store, the sell through rate is like 20 days, and the items are taken with sunlight on the carpet in this room. It's not fancy. I haven't spent any time optimizing anything. It's just literally go get the item, come home, list it on the ground, and then put it back in my store. There's nothing fancy about that. So don't optimize everything when it most of the time you can just eliminate that task completely. You don't need to do it at all. Let's see here. Excess processing. This is an interesting one where you try to handle each item one time. That's I'm working on that. I really like that process. So right now I kind of have that. I thrift, come home, photograph it, shoot it, describe it, package it. I even brought those plastic bags home. And for those that are wondering, I use 9 by 12 clear poly bags from Amazon. It's in my link of supplies below if you want to check it out. And then 12 by 15 for shoes. So 12 by 15 for shoes and 9 by 12 for clothing. And I wrap most of the stuff in there. Kelly is saying, still for the best resales property. I agree. It's the same thing. I mean, everything is in sales. When you're trying to get a significant other, you're selling your stuff to them. Property is on the higher end. Even in property, once you start selling residential property, maybe you move into commercial property, maybe you move into multi-unit apartment, shopping malls, and you move into giant pieces of land. I like the idea of a piece of property being able to cash flow. That doesn't really work with reselling, right? There's no cash flow. Once you sell it, it's gone. That's why I like rentals, right? I have rental cars that produce income all until the car dies, right? So it's kind of like a piece of property. You get it and it just goes. Real estate is absolutely what most people are reselling for. If I were to ask people in my group, why are you reselling? A very common answer is so I can buy a piece of real estate. So Ron wants to buy and hold property. I agree with that. My fiance and I are on the same page there. Just buy it and then not so much worry about flipping it. Just get the cash flow, and then after 30 years, the all the property is paid off, and you're just living on that dividend. It's not really that difficult if you just get like 10, 5 to 10 properties, depending on where you live. And there's a reseller that I know that was able to buy a piece of property every single year with eBay profits. So it's possible. You just keep growing. The one thing about reselling is that it produces a much higher return than the stock market or real estate, but it's just so much physical work, right? Because we're looking to double our money on something, and in a month. Some people want to double their money in a week. Like, how greedy are you? If your real estate goes up 5% a year, people are like jumping up and down. But the stock market, if you're getting a 20% return, you're considered an oracle, right? But reselling, killing it. JM, I'm usually talking about profit. So for me, like personally, I'm looking for 300K profit on $1 million in sales. My $1,000 challenge is $1,000 net. So it's more like $3,000 gross. It's hard. Maybe I should be more clear each time I mention a number so people have an idea. But I'm talking about net pre-tax, pre-self-employment tax. This hoodie is in the description below. Not in the description below, but there's a um, Teespring thing in the middle where you guys can pick up some merch if you want to support the channel. Um, Kyle's using Kijiji, eBay, and Let Go. Yes, that's an important thing to bring up. If you want to increase the amount, if you want to increase the amount the turn time on your item, then you want to list on items that you can sell locally. And for me, since I have a storage unit where all my stuff is, I can meet up with people there, which has been awesome. I love listing things locally. I sold all but one item on OfferUp that I posted. Sells really, really quickly. But if you guys are still around, please smash the like button. And if you guys have any questions, I'll take a few questions before I go and move some stuff around. And guys, when you resell, it really is, it's kind of like 24/7. I'm working 6 days a week. Today is normally fiance day, but she is out of town. So I'm getting an extra day and I'm just working. I noticed that a lot of people do that. This is actually the same thing as my hobby. Reselling is the same thing as my hobby. If I was independently wealthy, I would still probably sell things. What are my thoughts on using a VA to edit YouTube videos? It's smart. I just haven't set it up yet, and I'm not really getting into editing much. Although I am joining a few groups on how to optimize your channel. So I want to make the best content I can, and I definitely need a little bit more help with that. Do I ever source from Craigslist? Yes, that's part of my consignment strategy. So ads will pop up. I just took this from Craigslist Hunter. Ads that I'm creating will generate pickup times at my store. So while I'm there shipping, people can bring stuff for me to buy. I'd like people to come to me because they're usually more willing to sell if they come to you. Yeah, too big to ship locally. That's also something I'm doing here. I have a small patio right here. And what it is full of is cheap furniture that I found thrifting, looking for mid century modern stuff. It's going in there, coffee tables, chairs, and I can sell probably 5 pieces at a time. What is the overseas country where I sell the items the most? The UK. The UK, and then maybe Canada. Those are the 2 countries I sell to the most. Germany, maybe third. Any new ETA on the PC course? Yeah, so PC is right here. The one thing I'm having trouble with, if anybody knows the answer, is how I can click. The course is done except for one thing, which is trying to click a URL. I'm having difficulty with that inside of I can do all of the features that are just tab that you can just do with the keyboard. The ones where they are coding, I'm having a little bit of issue with that. So I'm just missing the one part where you can have it click a link. So if you guys know how to do that, email me and I'll take a look at it. Craigslist, yeah, Craigslist Hunter is a good channel. I was fortunate enough to meet. I met Pete at the reseller rally a couple years ago in Chicago. He's a cool guy. That's great. Tommy has the advice that you can use an app called C Plus, and it will set alerts for keywords in different areas. Nice. So Ron has sold 2 cars for other people recently and made some capital there. Thanks, Patty. Yeah, Chris at dailyrefinement.com if you guys have any PC programming advice. Yeah, it should be pretty easy to click the link. I know how to do it on a Mac. I'm just not that familiar with PC. Yeah, thank you, Kasef. That's on my list of stuff to do today. So figure out the macro part that I'm missing. I have to send some stuff, get ready for quarterly taxes, which is annoying. Um, I'm gonna check out Dollar Tree. There's a Dollar Tree near my storage, and I'm gonna ask them how their tagging works and their discount works because I want to start do some FBA for fun. I'm doing the online arbitrage thing. I'm sorry, retail and online arbitrage thing because I'm building the skill set for a scout. I don't have any interest in doing that. I think driving around and buying brand new stuff is the most boring waste of my life ever. I would rather get a job than drive around and look for discount coffee filters. That sounds like such a waste of life, but I'd love to train somebody else to do that for me. And I like Amazon because there's no, if they're not ungated, then they can't compete with you. So having a bunch of scouts driving around, that's interesting to me. But the most interesting thing is definitely actual wholesale. Yeah, Jam, I agree with that. Real estate is what's up, and I kind of agree with Ron saying that never sell. I'm okay with that too. Just collect rent forever once the properties are paid off. That's this close to passive income. That's a really close thing. Real Dad's Cook is asking if I sold a car on eBay. That's how I got started, kind of. I sold Lexus LFA for 419 grand on eBay. That was a $69,000 profit deal. So yeah, $69,000 markup on that car. We sold an MR2, Toyota 1999, I think, and then I sold a bunch of Camrys, a bunch of Priuses on eBay. I also sold um, what is that thing called? Oh, H1, Hummer H1. We took a Hummer H1 in for 41,000. A 16-year-old girl inherited one. So she came in, it was either junior year or senior year, and she said, "Hey, one of my parents passed and they left me an an H1, a Hummer, the original one. I had 12,000 miles on it. So they sell for about 100,000 new, but I don't think they make them anymore. So we gave her 41,000 for it, and it had a 100-pound external tank. And when we were test driving it, it got 4 miles a gallon. That's a beast mobile. So it had a winch and a 100-gallon tank external on it. It got 4 miles a gallon, and it took us maybe a month or two to get it ready to sell because there's a lot of complex things you need to test before you sell one. And then I sold it to Minnesota on eBay for 55 grand. So we paid 41, sold it for 55 on eBay. And again, that doesn't really work. That doesn't really work if you it's difficult to flip cars unless you have somebody backing you. So I was working for a dealership and they could pay for cars. Ron Beast is driving around looking for shoes. Yeah, I agree. I like looking for pre-owned shoes. I think it's fun. I don't think waiting in line at the Nike store is fun. All of the thrift stores I go to, I don't really wait in line. I'm spending most of my time hunting, which is the part I like the most. Tina, thank you for the super chat of $10. Appreciate it. Having seen the movie The Big Short, yeah. I mean, I don't think leveraging real estate is smart. You shouldn't be over leveraged. Wow, Kathy, that's a good thing. She charges per listing to take pictures and write up for Craigslist car sales. Great idea. I bet your local car dealership would pay you to do that too. Why not? It's like not very, it's I mean, hopefully you charge at least $50 for that service. And a car dealership would probably pay you $50 per car to do that. So you could go to a car dealership, they have 100 cars, make at least 5 grand doing that. Do I have any tips for picking up shoes to sell on eBay? Yes. Spend the majority of your time looking for them locally, online, and doing plans. I'm sorry, figuring out all the release date hacks. Yeah, Ahmad is saying that the retail market is slowly dying. If you guys agree with that, please comment in the chat or smash the like button. I 100% agree with that. 30% off is like the new regular price. Everything is on sale at the retail market. And there's a heavy minimalism thing going on right now. So people are getting rid of their stuff. They're downsizing. It's a really good time to be a thrifter. Everyone is getting rid of stuff. But as far as retail, I mean, how do you pay $100 for like a basic item, clothing item? It's so hard to pay that when thrift stores are like advertising now. They're on OfferUp. There's all these resale sites like popping up everywhere. You can get luxury items for 80% off that have been worn one time. It's hard to sell brand new stuff right now. I'm using Turo and Get Around. What's up, Starco? You're looking for indoor soccer shoes. Nice. But yeah, guys, I'm gonna take off. I'm gonna go get some work done. If you guys are still listening, I appreciate you guys stopping by, but I really want you guys to focus on the three things that I mentioned earlier, which is you need to spend your time looking for unique or undervalued deals, looking for improvements in your store or how to make other products better. And then finally, you need to focus on relationships and how you can be an asset to that person. Don't focus on what you want. That doesn't matter. What do they want? How can you be an asset to that person so they can work with you? So smash the like button, subscribe, notification bell. I'll see you guys on the next episode. Take care.